Welcome, everyone. Please rise for the invocation and stay standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we are thankful for the opportunity to serve the people of our city. Help us to act with character and conviction. Help us to listen with understanding and goodwill. Give us a spirit of service. Let our discussions be wholesome, and may our spirits be lifted because of the friendships we share. We pray for neighborhood spirit and are always mindful that generosity, peace, and trust will give rise to a strong community. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, again, welcome, everyone. I'm calling to order the City of Lee Summit regular session as amended, number 33. Can I get a roll call, please?
Councilmember DeMauro.
Here.
Member Hodges.
Here.
Councilmember Felker.
Here.
Member Lovell.
Here.
Member Pryor.
Here.
Councilmember Edson. Councilmember Shields.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Lopez.
Here.
Mayor Baird.
Here. All right, very good. First item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. I have a motion to approve the agenda by Councilmember DeMauro, seconded by Councilmember Shields. Discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote. Councilmember Lovell's an aye. My screen's not. Yes. Yeah, so does mine. Does yours? Yeah. All of our screens look different. I can't tell if all the votes are in. I don't see Mr. Marsh, Mr. Dunning. Okay. Are all the votes in? Tricia? All votes are in. Please record the vote. All right. Passes 8-0. Thank you. All right, we're just having some, we'll just have to adjust. But it's a little tough for me to call for the vote, so I might be calling on you, Tricia, every vote. You're rebooting? Okay. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda. I have a motion to adopt the consent agenda by Councilmember Shields, a second by Councilmember Hodges. Discussion? Yes, Councilmember Felker.
Thank you, Mayor. I know that, just real quickly comment on the fact that we have a couple of the mayor's appointments where we, unlike our prior process, there are some that require the 2/3 approval. And I just wanted to make a comment because I serve on the committee and board with at least two of these groups, one being the License Tax Review Committee, Glenn Jones, Cinda Rader, and Carl Blumenhorst, who have all three, have many years of experience on that. And we're getting 2/3 of approval because we're requiring it because they've been there on more than 3 years. And I think one's may actually live out of town or close to it. And then the Water Utilities Advisory Board similarly serve with Mike Atchison, who'll be on it as well. So just making that comment and why I don't have any issue with going with the 2/3 approval on that. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Yeah, so I know it's off topic again. Mr. Dunning, I might have to recess for a minute because I can't, on my monitor, Mr. Marsh, I can't even put forth the next speaker, and I can't make adjustments on my screen. So let's vote on this one. Then I'm probably going to recess for a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and call for the vote, please. Are all votes in? All votes are in. Please record the vote. And it passes 8-0. Let's take a 5-minute recess, and maybe we'll all be rebooting and such. I'm not sure, but Mr. Marsh will help us out. 5-minute recess. So Okay, computers look to be fixed, so I'm going to bring the meeting back to order. The last vote was the consent agenda, and it was approved unanimously. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the council roundtable. These are items of general interest, things going on in your district. Does anybody have anything to share? All right, then we will go right into the public hearings, item number 4. The first one is a public hearing that's going to be continued indefinitely, so I need a motion from someone to continue that indefinitely.
Mayor,
I don't think I need to enter the public hearing. Nope, just need a motion. I've been through this before now, and I always mess it up, but not tonight.
Mayor,
Councilmember DeMoro.
I move to, I motion to move item 2023-5464 to a date uncertain, to a date indefinite, which is public hearing PL 2022-217.
Very good, thank you. I have a motion to continue indefinitely the public hearing for the PDP at Colton's Crossing by Councilmember DeMoro, seconded by Councilmember Hodges. Discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote. All votes are in, please record the vote. And it passes 8-0, thank you. Do we have any public comments tonight?
I've not received any public comments.
Thank you. That takes us to item number 6. Tonight, we're doing a presentation. It's regarding Ignite, the community strategic plan. And what we have talked about in the past is we did all that work. It took us 18 months to get through a strategic plan. We have 7 critical success factors. And I'd mentioned that we need to start going through and getting updates on and making sure that we are following our, number one, knowing what our strategic plan is as a council and always staying focused on that plan. But number 2, also making sure staff is helping us move along and continue down that path, and that we're all doing our part to stay true to the blueprint that we put together and that our citizens put together and our community stakeholders put together a couple of years back. So tonight is that presentation, and tonight's critical success factor is collaborative relations with education partners. There's a lot of positive to talk about tonight. I know that because we've had a lot of engagement with the schools. And with that, I will turn it over to Mark Dunning, the city manager.
Thank you, Mayor Baird. And I love this idea of revisiting critical success factors in our strategic plan on a systematic process. It helps us as staff, and I think I'll speak on behalf of the community partners and citizens, and perhaps the mayor and the council too, that it's good to keep a focus on this and focus our work and initiatives towards our strategic plan. So I'll give you a brief background on the strategic plan, recognizing that many of you participated in that effort as a mayor or council member. If you did not as a mayor and council member, perhaps you did as a community partner group or a citizen or other. So safe to say in 2019, we began this strategic planning effort. What I'm showing you here is a 34-page summary report that I think captures those efforts that we went through in the midst of COVID. We started these out as in-person meetings and found a way to power through the COVID pandemic to move this forward. I'm not going to dive deep into this summary report. I just wanted to make reference to this. It is great background information as to what went into the strategic plan effort. And there's plenty of visuals and feedback that was received through that process from the various stakeholders within the community. So that document's there for reference. It is on our city website for the public to view and within this packet. So I'm going to take a 30,000-foot level and get us down to the critical success factor. Through the strategic plan, we established our vision, mission, and values. And that is something that I can share with you that we share with all new employees as they are in the onboarding process here for the organization. The vision is intentionally set to be one that we never know when we fully achieve it. That's a statement that's always to be stretching us. That was established through the strategic plan, but the mayor and the council established ultimately that vision for this community based on all that community feedback. The mission is for the organization then, us. Our management team established that mission. And as you can read it here, what really comes out to me is this is really our approach to our work. When I think of, again, we share this with the new employees, collaboration, creativity, and commitment talks about the approach that we take in our work, as well as our core values of stewardship, integrity, and service excellence. So that is the principles, if you will, the values that we as an organization hold, and we hope that we perform to. I share these because we want to be held accountable, and that's part of the reason it's in the strategic plan. We expect to be held accountable to those values, that mission, and our work towards that vision for the community. So diving a little deeper into the strategic plan then, we have what we call our critical success factors. There's 7 of them. I'll see if I can get all of these to show up on the screen at one time and still be legible. So we call these critical success factors. Think about these as our areas of focus. And so as we're tackling initiatives within the community, we're working with our community stakeholders, our community partners, in moving this community forward, we should ask ourselves, is the work that we're doing in alignment with the strategic plan, and can we tie that work, our efforts, back to a critical success factor? And so this is building that framework for what we do here as an organization and others within the community. I'm not going to go through all of these, but these are the 7 that we will take time to, working with Mary Baird, to put on future agendas to cover other critical success factors. The one we're focused on right now is the collaborative relations with education partners. And diving a little deeper then, we have what we refer to as our implementation strategies. And so that's probably where we'll spend some time, well, we will spend some time tonight updating you and the community on what has been taking place with regard to this critical success factor. So it's not my intent to go deep into the objectives, strategies, and action items, but as you can see here, we outline those objectives, strategies, action items, and then we also identify, we call them the C4. That's the city council, it's our city administration, our city organization, our community partners, and citizens. And when you think about all the stakeholders involved on helping move forward on our strategic plan, I think that captures pretty much everyone. And then you can see a time frame here. I'm not going to pay too much attention to the time frame because, quite honestly, COVID did disrupt that. It's not an excuse, but we know that had an impact on those time frames when they were originally scheduled. So perhaps that's something we revisit as we update our strategic plan and we recognize what we've accomplished, what we're still working on, and what we have yet to begin implementation on. So it's a good opportunity to update these strategies. So focusing generally on the objectives, expanding student engagement in the workforce. That was the objective. You can see 3 strategies connected to that. I won't go through the action items, but as you can imagine, the community partners are in many cases the leads in these efforts, working with the C4, the council, the organization, and citizens. And so, as you can see there, that's one portion of this. And what we intend to do tonight is I'll share a little bit about what the city organization has been doing in this environment, and then allow time for our community partners to also share some of the initiatives that have been accomplished or in progress, so that you have a good update with these critical success factor on collaborative relations with education partners. The second page then of this implementation framework is to create opportunities to collaborate. That's pretty overarching, but you can see there's, 4 strategies there and action items that relate to those. And you can see, not that if there's not an X in one of those boxes on the C4 partners, that doesn't mean they're not invited, they're not welcome. Certainly, more than happy to have those efforts come together as we pursue these, but this was intended to identify who would be the lead, and at that time, who would play a major role in this and should certainly be plugged into the efforts here. So that's high level, 30,000 feet, how we got here today. I will share with you that numerous stakeholders were involved in this entire process. I mentioned the strategic plan was adopted in 2019. This implementation strategy that was then brought forward to really put the wheels in motion, and that was done in 2020. So it was a multi-year process to get to this point. So with that, if it'd be helpful, I can give you a little bit of an update from the city organization on what kinds of initiatives have been in play and the partnerships that have been created. With our police department, we've been operating under the DARE framework, and we've recently transitioned that to a new program called Impact with the Lee Summit Schools. So that is in motion. We have a youth court that is facilitated, a youth advisory board. Our own Chief Forbes participates on the board with the Herndon Career Center, looking at law enforcement and police science types of curriculum there. We have a Junior Citizens Academy, a Police Explorer program, and we certainly have a lot of pride in our school resource officers that work with the school district here in Lee Summit. On the fire department side, there's monthly safety and coordination meetings that take place with school leadership. There's continued collaborations on pursuing a gateway program for those students interested in the fire service. On the public works side, a longstanding program, our Summit Technology Academy, the engineering program that many of you come to see that student presentation. They go through a pretty rigorous curriculum to develop a proposal here at the city, and so that's a great program, well run. Starting up a Summit Technology Aviation program in partnership with Lee Summit School District and the University of Central Missouri. That's in progress. And one of the things that we're talking about through our no tax increase is this partnership with the school district and those stakeholders on having a presence at the airport and having that aviation curriculum, those programs right there on the airport. So that's a nice one as well in working with our partners. I'll throw this into on the administration side. We know we've got a partnership on the 291 North and US 50 Highway interchange. A lot of work has been done on that front to create all those partnerships. We know what's taking place with this proposed landfill in South Kansas City. Working with the Jackson County Assessor's Office on doing a better job of recognizing what is market value for properties and capturing new construction so that we have our revenue streams are more predictable and precise. Being taxing jurisdictions, that's important to understand. And then we've talked a lot about the Property Reserve Incorporated, 4,200 acres, and how that develops out in our school district, our partners in that effort as well. And then connecting that to our economic development incentives and our community growth, recognizing that they're a major player in incentives with their levy, and so they're involved in those discussions. Wrapping up, I know that we have many staff here at the city that participate in career days with the schools and take an opportunity away from work to go visit with students in the schools about what types of professions are out there and what kinds of experiences might you have. Perhaps one of my favorite is when the school choirs of all ages come to City Hall and they sing in our lobby. The acoustics in there are phenomenal. If you've never heard a choir sing in there, it's very impressive. And we love having them come here. So looking forward, we know there's abundant opportunities to continue partnerships with not only Lee Summit R7, who's here tonight, but thinking about our private schools, about MCC Longview, about UCM, and growing that collaboration. I can tell you that all of those are connected and working on initiatives, but tonight we do have some of those community partners here. I'll turn it over to Dr. Buck, and he can share with you some things going on with the LSR 7. And then I believe we also have EDC here. And I know talking with the chamber, there was some family commitments tonight, but we're trying to get our community partners engaged in this too to share information. There may be questions and have some dialogue about this. So I'll turn it over to Dr. Buck.
Good evening, council, mayor, city officials. Thank you very much for having us. I have 4 of us that are going to be speaking. I'll open up, and I'm going to turn it over then to Director Shannon Booth, then to Principal of STA Jeremy Bonas, and then Board President Campbell will end. I'm going to start big picture, and we'll kind of go down as a funnel as you will. Collaboration is key for us, but I also will tell you workforce development is key for us. We're all in. And so if you think about just 2 years ago, we downsized other departments and tripled the number of people to report underneath Shannon Booth as we focus on career technical education. We want to continue to do our outstanding jobs of helping kids who want to go to college. Don't get me wrong, I want a dentist to go to college before they work on my teeth. We also know that's not for all kids. We're one of the few districts we've added registered youth apprenticeship. We're one of the few districts in the entire state out of 518. There's only about 24 in the state that have one. We have people from industry come and teach kids in our classroom. We have teachers that most districts couldn't think about. We have a medical doctor teaching kids. We have people who've ran airports teaching kids. So we go above and beyond and do things. So we've had existing programs that are considered top of the line in the nation. If you look at our Cisco networking system, there's over 2,000 programs in the North America, and we're considered top 5. We're very proud of those, but we're constantly expanding. Also with that, our real world learning push, and we've used that with the Kauffman Foundation. We've also tried to expand that down to the elementary level, where kids will learn about themselves and what they're interested in. We expose them. In fact, starting tomorrow, if it doesn't rain, we'll have our first We Build, where we take projects and kids can get tools in their hands and build stuff at their site. We have a trailer and ready-made projects come to them. In the middle school, we really start exploring those and igniting the passions, and then in high school, we can go farther with that. We also are looking at different pathways within using the U.S. Chamber kind of model you're going to maybe hear about here in a little bit. We partner with the city on existing things, such as if you get a chance, I encourage you at the end of the year when engineering kids make a pitch that they've been working with city staff all year long on doing a project. It is amazing what those kids learn and can do. Last year I learned more about sewer engineering than I ever thought I would learn. So it's a fantastic partnership, but we're always looking for new ones too. Right now we're working with the fire department. It's not ready for next year, but looking at having a fire academy. We know they hire 20 to 30 to 40 people a year, and we can be a pipeline for that. We send kids to Herndon Career Center, Cass Career Center, but we also have a lot of amazing facilities, and we do a lot of things in-house. I think we offer more opportunities for kids than any other district in the state. And I'm very proud of that, and we continue to expand and look at that. I'm going to highlight a couple of them that are unique. This year, for the first time, you can take Algebra 1 traditionally. Maybe you loved Algebra 1 and that worked for you. Maybe you didn't love Algebra 1 traditionally. We also now have an amped up algebra. Kids are learning the same exact algebraic functions and standards, but they're doing it while they run a business. So they have a screen printing shop, and they design skateboards and get into curvature using algebra functions, the same type of functions. Okay. So next year we're building a site at all 3 high schools. It's going to have not only robotics, so we'll have competition fields at all their high schools, but it'll also have construction and geometry. So again, as a kid, you can take geometry in a very traditional book manner, or you can learn the exact same things while you're building sheds or tiny houses or whatever the projects may be. So it'll be hands-on, but you're going to learn the same thing. I use the Pythagorean theorem when I try to make something square. Right? So if I'm building a deck, that's when I use Pythagorean theorem in my life. So some kids are going to learn it hands-on better than they're going to learn book-wise. So we continue to look to meet kids where they are, but also to help ignite passions of what they may be interested in, and then help them explore and really develop those skills. So without further ado, Shannon Booth's going to share some high-level pieces and talk about our business partners, which we have over 200 business partners that we engage with on a regular basis, as well as the top of the city and EDC and the chamber. But I just want to leave you with this. We are very grateful for the partnership we have with the city. Your city staff, the police department, fire department are fantastic. Whether you're talking about workforce development or collaborating around safety pieces, we couldn't be more happy. I've spent 3 hours in this building earlier today collaborating with city staff. So I appreciate what you do, and I appreciate the city. So thank you. And without further ado, Director Shannon Booth.
Thank you.
Good evening. As Dr. Buck said, my name is Shannon Booth. I serve as Director of Career Education for the Lee Summit School District. And some of the things I want to talk to you all about tonight are some of the things that we have been able to implement the last couple of years since we have expanded the Career Education Department. And one of those things that we really worked closely with the Lee Summit Economic Development Council is on the Workforce Alliance, which they lead and host in collaboration with lots of school districts, including ours, and many of our business partners. From some of that work, we've had National Manufacturing Day, which the EDC and R7 have hosted together. From National Manufacturing Day, we are able to stand up the 2 registered youth apprenticeships that we signed those young men into this year. So they're getting paid as they continue their education and training. So then when they graduate with their diploma, they also have full-time employment. In addition to that, we have also been able to stand up some job shadow experiences with R&D Leverage and several other. We've really focused on career and technical and trades areas and boosted those up the last couple of years. So we have several that are starting up in those areas. In addition, we have 156 paid student internships with local businesses across the city, and that is up from years past. But very near and dear and special is the city has really collaborated with us for our special services programs. So we have a lot of special education students that are now in student internships as well. In fact, we have 51, which is an increase of 34 from just last year. The city's really stepped up to help in that area, and we are finding full-time employment for those students as well when they leave our program. In addition, we have teamed up with Paragon Star on several engagement opportunities. So they have an intern working for them, as well as several client-connected projects where they've engaged with our students on many different areas and entrepreneurial experiences, and we continue to work closely with them and partner in that way so we can bring some of that into our classrooms. Dr. Buck talked too about igniting those passions earlier, and part of the Ignite plan you all have is to get students interested a little sooner. So some other initiatives that we've had going that we've fully implemented this year is our youth science aptitude assessment that all of our 7th graders and freshmen are taking that will help introduce them to their aptitudes and interests. So we have kind of a combo between an aptitude and an interest assessment. And with all students taking those, we can really dive into that work and start putting together some future-focused field trips where we can get our students out to see what they're really interested in, or maybe they don't even know they're interested in it until after they take some of those assessments, and we can get them out to see it. We can bring our business partners into the classroom and really start working with those students so that they have that 4-year plan and beyond for when they leave us. And then in addition, we talked a little bit about the elementary work, and as Dr. Buck said, we are starting our R7 build zones tomorrow, and we are going to be going to all 18 elementary schools. We've partnered with several local businesses. In fact, if the rain holds off tomorrow, downtown Lee Summit is going to be all over Lee Summit Elementary, helping volunteer for all of our 5th graders to come out and build a birdhouse from scratch. So our advanced manufacturing students have helped prefabricate all of the pieces. And we have volunteers that are both teachers, community members, business partners, and students that are coming out to each of these builds to help our 5th graders walk through the different stations and learn about how to use all of those tools and get to take home something that they built on their own. So that kicks off tomorrow, and we'll go to all 18 elementary schools. In addition, we also are doing a vehicle fair where we have reached out to local business partners that work with a vehicle, and they're going to be driving their vehicle to one of our 18 elementary schools, and our students will be able to come out and talk to that business partner about what they do and how they use their vehicle. We're really focusing on 1st grade there. So we have several of those types of initiatives going all the way through, from pre-K through to our market value assets. And we are projected to be above the 70% mark, which is where we were last year, for our graduates to graduate with one of those market value assets. And we will continue to grow and grow in those numbers because of our awesome partnerships with the city and our local business partners. So thank you. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Journey Bonison.
Hold on a second.
Sure.
I'm going to ask if anybody has questions, because I do.
Okay.
So, did you say 156 paid internships?
I did.
How many, before you became the point person on this, were in place?
Ooh, we probably had, I don't know the number off the top of my head, but it was under 100.
Okay. So just in the last couple of years, you've increased that by 50%, so. And then, youth aptitude and interest, so I'm sure we've done some type of test before, but that's new as of the last year or so?
Yes, so in the past, we've really focused on student interest, and I'm sure you all know that our kids love to be on YouTube and they love to be on social media, but not everyone is going to make a living as an influencer. And what we were seeing is those interest inventories were showing that that was the top career interest of all of our students. And so I'm sure we have some very talented ones that will do very well in that area, but not everyone. So we were really looking at the research and trying to find an assessment that would make sense for all kids that wasn't just focused on interests, and that's where that aptitude test came in. And so they do these things called brain games, where they just determine in what areas your aptitude is higher than others, and then also relate that to the interests. So actually, I have some of our results here, and it was very interesting as I went through. The top 3 sectors were similar in all 3 of our high schools, but it seems to be computers and technology, government and public administration, advanced manufacturing, agriculture, and natural resources were the top as far as aptitudes go. And then if you just focus down to interests, it was health, finance, arts, ag. So again, all of those things are in those top aptitude areas as well. So now we can have conversations with kids on what that actually means.
Well, I'm sure, I mean, I remember taking aptitude tests, but not the interest tests, and you should do what you love in this world, so it's nice to know that you're focusing on that side of it as well, so that's cool. And then, how many birdhouses are gonna be built tomorrow?
Oh, goodness. It's thousands.
What?
Thousands, not just tomorrow, but throughout the whole thing. So it's every single 5th grader in the entire district will take home a birdhouse.
So you're teaching them the Pythagorean theorem, because, you know, the birdhouses have to probably be square angles too, and then you're also taking care of the birds in our community and giving them houses, so that's pretty cool. You've done a phenomenal job. That's why I wanted to stop you. I'm so happy that Dr. Buck put you as the point, and you've been a phenomenal collaborator, and I don't get to talk to you very much, so I wanted to make sure I told you right now how great you are, so thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Lovell?
Thanks, Mayor. What kind of birds? I'm not a big fan of red-winged blackbirds. I've been attacked multiple times, so anyway, that's a side note. So I'm a little nervous about these 1,000 birdhouses. For business owners in the community, what is the best way to engage you or find, because it is something we've thought about in business, is like, there are so many skills inside a business. Like you mentioned influencers and video. There are so many places in business to utilize those skills that they're developing now, whether it's a business has a podcast or some sort of video marketing or whatever. And I'm just curious, you know, what is the best way to for us as business owners to engage and maybe find opportunities to bring people in and work with them?
Absolutely. So you can always call district office and ask for the career education department or Shannon Booth, and you'll be connected to me. We can have a conversation of what it is that you're looking for. Another ways that we've connected is we went to local businesses with our department, so our career navigators, because all of them are very aware of what's happening in their building and what the curriculum looks like for different areas, and so they're able to connect some teachers that are looking for things with possible business partners. So that's another way, by reaching out to the career navigators at each of the high schools. There's also a form on our Diploma Plus website. So through R7, if you go to our homepage, there's a Diploma Plus link. And on that website, there's a business partner engagement form that I check regularly, a couple times a week. So anyone who's interested in getting involved can fill out that form, and we'll be contacting you.
Great, thank you. Thanks, Mayor.
Yep, thank you. That was a softball question, that one was. Mine were tougher. All right, you can turn it over to Dr. Bonison if you
Okay,
want.
thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor Baird, council, thank you so much for the time to talk about the collaboration that we have with the district. And in specific, my job at STA is the principal and director of the MIC campus. And we work closely with UCM and our partners. So STA has about 300 business partners that we work with in particular for our 14 programs. We're excited that we'll be expanding to a second campus next year, the Paradise Park campus, where we will have 2 programs. We will have an environmental studies program that aligns to ag. You heard the interest that students have with ag. In particular, urban agriculture is of interest to students right now in environmental studies. So excited to resurrect that property and to provide students with opportunities to do science investigations, not only high school level and college level for our high school students that are part of STA, but as a part of that program, all of our elementary school students will have science investigations that they will do once a year. So instead of talking about what happens outside, they will actually be outside doing science investigations. So I'm excited about that. And then as Mayor Baird has talked about over the years with hospitality, and we need to make sure to have opportunities for students with hospitality. We will resurrect a hospitality program that we used to have and put a twist on it with Paradise Park. And it will be a program that is hospitality, tourism, and recreation management because of Paradise Park and the opportunities in Kansas City. So we're very excited about those programs. They're popular programs and posting those job opportunities right now. So those are 2 of the things that we're doing in the strategic plan. The charge was to expand opportunities, and we're doing that not only at STA, MIC, but in partnership, obviously, at the airport. And Mayor Baird, thank you for your support years ago. It seems like it's been a long time coming, but we're really starting to see things come together now in the planning. So very excited about that, and our program continues to expand. Students in that program leave the program with a Part 107 FAA drone certification. Last year, we had students working for $30 an hour at engineering firms. So it's not just playing with drones. It's really not at all. Those students are doing work that is very valuable for engineering firms and others that saves quite a bit of time for those companies. So the airport, in addition to the airport, Dr. Buck mentioned that we're in collaboration with the fire department and working very closely with Assistant Chief York on plans for that, which is a very exciting opportunity for students. Currently, our students have to go to Cass Career for that program. This will bring it home and into our community to have it embedded there. So those are some future opportunities. Our district also is looking at the expansion of the MIC facility itself in the north end of the facility. There is a footprint for about a 50% expansion that was mentioned earlier. In that area, we're looking to grow opportunities in emerging technologies. So robotic automation, data and AI, animation and motion graphics. That's not cartoons. That is related to digital media. Everything there are media components that are needed. I mean, even tonight, right? After COVID, we learned how important that is. And so that is an area that will be growing. And then biotech. So all those are areas that we are planning in the expansion, working with UCM and plans that they have. I was just in a meeting today with robotic automation. And we have a number of companies who have talked about locating here in our community, but for having a structure for robotic automation. And so we're working to put that into play. We have a student at STA who is at Paragon Star currently as an intern and looking at the future with our hospitality program. That would work very nicely with that organization. We have had, I'm just naming a few, but currently students working at Ultrax Engineering. And then expanding opportunities with the Lee Summit Workforce Alliance. One of the plans that we had is to create talent pipelines for students. So those students to begin early of self-awareness, career awareness, career exploration, to explore opportunities for students to understand really what's out there, not what's on TV or just what my parents do, but what's truly out there now. And then opportunities to prepare and provide a strong foundation, and then finally, training into the workforce. So just last week, we worked with St. Luke's Hospital, and 9 students at STA were hired in a training opportunity for students. So as a part of our nursing program and our allied health program, students leave our facility, they go to the hospital and are trained 4 hours a day to get a certification as a nurse assistant, and they're paid $17.50 an hour during their school day as a pipeline. And then when they finish that training, they have benefits. They also have the opportunity for tuition reimbursement up to $10,500 a year to grow into a nurse or other healthcare occupations. We're working with HCA for other allied health opportunities, and with St. Luke's at the table, there are others who are very interested. For instance, HCA is interested building a program similar to that next year, and this is just a pilot program this year. University Health is also interested, and then working with Children's Mercy and UCM, and then the MOCAN Nursing Network, which is a very large network in the Kansas City region for nursing. We found this year that there were 220 nursing spots for nursing school that did not go filled. So working to build a pipeline, which nursing is the #1 career need in the nation, and also in our community, in our area. So we're working very hard to build this pipeline because it's a big need. It's one of our largest employment sectors in Lee Summit. And as we build this pipeline, starting with training and then working backwards into a talent pipeline to help students prepare, to gain awareness as they are younger, to draw students who are helpers. Our nurses need to be helpers, our teachers need to be helpers into the great opportunities, but not just showing them as we've done in the past. Maybe you have in your own education learned a little bit about careers, but there was an opportunity to get started while you're in school. So not only to get started, but to have supports for that training, and then also supports for that certification opportunity, and then future opportunity to pay for tuition. So we're very excited about that. And after we get that pipeline going, the plan is to duplicate that in other areas. So now what it takes is partners who are willing to work together with the school to make that happen. And so sometimes that's financial assistance, other resources to make sure that students are drawn into the area. And what we see is those industries that are willing to invest a little bit get a lot of return. So those are a few things that we're doing. We've also expanded STA. We now have 35 sending high schools. Not just the 3 Lee Summit high schools, but 35 in the Kansas City area that come here. Students are coming about an hour north, south, and east and west to our community to get training.
Wow. Okay. Questions? Yes, Councilmember DeMauro.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Bonison, this stuff is exciting, to say the least. I mean, to hear Dr. Buck and Shannon and you talk about this stuff, it's just amazing how education has moved into, the entrepreneurials and the kids that can find what they want to do before, a lot of money is spent and things like, a lot of time consumed. But I do have a couple questions, and thank you all for your presentations. When you talked about the students that are working with drone engineers, now, does that, if they continue into drones, is there a engineering program for them to enter when they actually do go to university?
Yeah, great question. So that program is designed to complement students who are going into aviation of some sort, and it helps to pay. It's kind of an earn and learn option for them. Many of those students are interested in aerospace engineering, and so as they're going to school, they're building a network and also helping to pay for college and other things. So it's designed to complement those students who are going to aviation.
And then on the firefighter program, when they complete that program at STA, what kind of certification do they have?
So, and we're still working to build that, so the plan is not next year, but the year following. The plan will be that the students will have their firefighter 1 and 2, and then in future years that they would have EMT as well. So they would be set to go to work as a firefighter.
Yep.
Now, they would be entry level, but go to work as a firefighter.
But that, everybody's entry level when you start.
Yeah, exactly.
So, thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. I have a couple questions or comments. First off, it's amazing because I just want this council to know that before Dr. Buck was here, and also before Shannon was appointed the workforce development person, I'd get calls 4 or 5 years ago, and from businesses in our community that wanted to get into the school district, and I would call Dr. Bonison. He doesn't like me taking any credit for this, but I didn't have a choice, and he would always take my call, and he would always meet with me and always meet with the business. And to think that now we've got 300, I mean, I'm sure you had numerous business partners then, but just to see how far we've come and the commitment from the school district and going all in, going more than all in, as far as I'm concerned, is just, it's pretty amazing. That was just 4 or 5 years ago. I love the fact that, because I do remember nursing was an issue back then, and you've just really come a long way, I feel like, and we are a healthcare hub. What about this urban agriculture? Because it sounds like a great thing that we would be interested in. I had to look it up. It's, suburban and urban agriculture, community gardens and such. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's a piece of it. So with, it fits into natural resources and environmental studies. So sustainability is a very big interest of students right now, and also, our community and nations. So this program is going to have a backbone of ag, but one strand of ag working with land is environmental. And so a quick factoid is that the first ag program in the state of Missouri was in Lee Summit. And so that was 1928. It closed down in 1978. So this will be kind of a renewal in a new way with environmental studies. But urban ag, permaculture, which is something you can also look at, has to do with sustainability and how can we make sure to take care of the environment and the land as we seek to take care of our own needs.
I love it. I think that's something we'd like to talk about more about partnering Dr. Buck when we get a chance. Do some more brainstorming. That sounds fantastic. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate you too. You've been phenomenal.
Thank you. Appreciate the collaboration.
Thank you, and I'll just take a moment to thank Dr. Bonison, Dr. Buck, and Shannon Booth. Great job on sharing these amazing programs. But I want to thank you all, City Council.
What's your name? I'm sorry you didn't introduce yourself.
Thank you, Kathy Campbell, President of the School Board.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you to Mark Dunning, and thank you, Mayor Baird, because without these partnerships that we have with all of you, a lot of this would be a lot tougher and a lot harder. So we just appreciate so much the collaboration. We appreciate the strategic direction and alignment with our district on our strategic direction so that we're planning for these programs, we're thinking about our students for the future, and we're looking at our facilities and what we have and are able to offer and plan 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. road. So just want to take a moment to acknowledge that and thank you all for that.
Oh, thank you. That's a nice little ending to, the whole point of this is we're supposed to be collaborating. We do love our relationship with the Lee Summit R7. But we do want to take it to the next level and show the other schools, Mr. Dunning, what we're doing, and make sure that they're included and we're partnering there. And I know we have different relationships there, but this was a really good start for us to see that we have moved forward. I'm going to open it up for any other questions the council has, but do you want to make any comment about that?
No, I would agree, and that's, in my remarks, recognizing we have more than just Lee Summit R7 School District. Within the city, there are other school districts, and I mentioned the private schools, and then our higher education partners too, so we'll continue to grow this environment.
I will point out that it's not even in our strategic plan, but our joint meetings with the school district have been really positive and a great way for us to show the community that we're working together, as well as nights like tonight. So thank you all for coming tonight. And we'll keep trying to do our part on our end. We appreciate you, and we'll keep trying to push forward as far as many opportunities as we can to work with the schools and the kids and the teachers. And it's a changing world, though, I will tell you that. Some of the stuff you're throwing words at us that we don't even know what they mean. So I wish somebody would have given me an aptitude test and an interest test in 7th grade. They kept telling me I was good with numbers. And then I'm up here doing this now. You know what I mean? Where's your passion take you? So anyway, thank you all again. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming. With that, I'm going to take it to the remaining business for the night. I don't see any other questions, so we're going to go to proposed ordinances forwarded from committee. Councilmember DeMora, would you please start us off with bill number 23-063?
Thank you, Mayor. I move to advance to second reading, bill number 23-063, an ordinance approving modification number 1 to the agreement between the City of Lee Summit, Missouri and HDR Engineering, Inc. for professional engineering services for transmission, large diameter sewers, and force main condition assessment and management program for an increase of $519,300 with an amended not to exceed amount of $2,045,680 and authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement for the same.
Thank you. We have a motion to move to second reading, bill number 23-063 by Councilmember DeMora, seconded by Councilmember Felker. Discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. It moves to second reading unanimously. Councilmember DeMora, would you please?
Yes, sir. I move for adoption, bill number 23-063, ordinance approving modification number 1 to the agreement between the City of Lee Summit, Missouri and HDR Engineering, Inc. for professional engineering services for transmission, large diameter sewers, and force main condition assessment and management program for an increase of $519,300 with amended not to exceed amount of $2,045,680 and authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement for the same.
Thank you. We have a motion to adopt bill number 23-063 by Councilmember DeMora, seconded by Councilmember Lovell. Discussion? Please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. It's unanimous. It's adopted. Thank you. Councilmember Shields, would you please read bill number 23-064?
Thank you, Mayor. I move for second reading of bill number 23-064, an ordinance approving modification number 1 to the agreement between the City of Lee Summit, Missouri and Burns McDonnell Engineering Company, Inc. for professional engineering services for West Prairie Lee's sewer modeling and design services, RFQ number 2022-012, for an increase of $427,406 with an amended not to exceed amount of $558,355 and authorizing city manager to execute an agreement for the same.
Thank you. We have a motion to move to second reading, bill number 23-064 by Councilmember Shields, seconded by Councilmember Hodges. Discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. It does move to second reading unanimously. Councilmember Shields, will you please?
Thank you, Mayor. I now move for adoption of Bill number 23-064, an ordinance approving modification number 1 to the agreement between the City of Lee Summit, Missouri and Burns McDonnell Engineering Company, Inc. for professional engineering services for West Prairie Lee Sewer Modeling and Design Services, RFQ number 2022-012, for an increase of $427,406 with an amended not-to-exceed amount of $558,355 and authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement for the same.
Thank you. We have a motion to adopt Bill number 23-064 by Councilmember Shields, seconded by Councilmember Lovell. Discussion? Please cast your vote. All votes are in. Oh. We missed somebody. Who's not an aye on there? Please cast your vote again. You did? Oh, I didn't. I had 7. So is it unanimous? All right, it's unanimous. It's a weird night. Should have Dr. Bonison come back and look at our computers.
It doesn't show me, Mayor, so I was an aye.
All right. Well, it doesn't show Councilmember Felker, so he's an aye. All right, next, Councilmember, speaking of, nope, we're on Councilmember Lovell. Councilmember Lovell, would you please read Bill number 23-065? Did we read that one for adoption or not? Okay, good. So Councilmember Lovell.
Thanks, Mayor. I move to advance the second reading Bill number 23-065, an ordinance awarding the bid for project number 794-2 for the curb repair fiscal year 23-2 program to Quality Custom Concepts Incorporated DBA Quality Custom Construction, the amount of $390,322.66, and authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement for the same.
Thank you. We have a motion to move to second reading, Bill number 23-065 by Councilmember Lovell, seconded by Councilmember, or Mayor Pro Tem Lopez. Discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. It's unanimous. Moves to second reading. Councilmember Lovell, would you please?
Yeah, I move for adoption, Bill number 23-065, an ordinance awarding the bid for project number 794-2 for the curb repair FY 23-2 program to Quality Custom Concepts Incorporated, DBA Quality Custom Construction, the amount of $390,322.66, and authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement for the same.
Thank you. We have a motion to adopt Bill number 23-065 by Councilmember Lovell, seconded by Councilmember Hodges. Discussion? Please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. That also is unanimous. It's adopted. Thank you. Councilmember Felker, would you please read Bill number 23-066?
Mayor, I'd like to move to advance the second reading Bill number 23-066, an ordinance approving the dual award of RFP 2023-028 to SAK Construction LLC and ProShot Concrete, Inc. for corrugated metal pipe CMP rehab using trenchless technology and related products and services for a 1-year term with 4 possible 1-year renewal options, and authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement for the same.
Thank you. We have a motion to move to second reading, Bill number 23-066 by Councilmember Felker, seconded by Councilmember Hodges. Discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. It's adopted unanimously. Thank you. Councilmember Felker, would you please?
Mayor, I'd like to move for the adoption of Bill number 23-066, an ordinance approving the dual award of RFP 2023-028 to SAK Construction LLC and ProShot Concrete, Inc. for corrugated metal pipe CMP rehab using trenchless technology and related products and services for a 1-year term with 4 possible 1-year renewal options, and authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement for the same.
Thank you. We have a motion to adopt Bill number 23-066 by Councilmember Felker, seconded by Councilmember Hodges. Discussion? Please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. And it's adopted unanimously. Thank you. Councilmember Hodges, would you please read Bill number 23-067?
I move to second reading Bill number 23-067, an ordinance approving an access easement across a city-owned parcel address 225 Northwest Chipman Road for the benefit of 221 Northwest Chipman Road LLC, and authorizing the mayor to execute the same.
Thank you. We have a motion to move to second reading Bill number 23-067 by Councilmember Hodges, seconded by Councilmember Pryor. Discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. Moves forward to second reading. Thank you. Councilmember Hodges, would you please?
I move for the adoption of Bill number 23-067, an ordinance approving an access easement across a city-owned parcel, address 225 Northwest Chipman Road for the benefit of 221 Northwest Chipman Road LLC, and authorizing the mayor to execute the same.
Okay. Very good. I have a motion to adopt Bill number 23-067 by Councilmember Hodges, seconded by Councilmember Pryor. Discussion? Please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. It's adopted unanimously. Thank you. All right, takes us to proposed ordinances. No, we have one more. Councilmember Pryor, would you please read Bill number 23-068?
Thank you, Mayor. I move to advance to a second reading Bill number 23-068, an ordinance approving a fixed base operator FBO agreement between the City of Lee Summit, Missouri and MJ Aviation Innovations LLC for an initial period of 2 years to perform aviation services at Lee Summit Municipal Airport, and authorizing the mayor to execute the same.
Thank you. We have a motion to move to second reading Bill number 23-068 by Councilmember Pryor, seconded by Councilmember Hodges. Discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. Moves forward to second reading 8-0. Thank you. Councilmember Pryor, would you please?
I move for adoption Bill number 23-068, an ordinance approving a fixed base operator FBO agreement between the City of Lee Summit, Missouri and MJ Aviation Innovations LLC for an initial period of 2 years to perform aviation services at Lee Summit Municipal Airport, and authorizing the mayor to execute the same.
Thank you. We have a motion to adopt Bill number 23-068 by Councilmember Pryor, seconded by Councilmember Hodges. Discussion? I'll say this. I just can't believe MJ didn't copyright MJ, trademark it. Do you know what I mean? When I see it, it's the first thing I think of. That's how strong that is. So, you know what I'm talking about? Michael Jackson. No, not Michael Jackson. Michael Jordan is MJ, the one and only. All right. Seeing no, real discussion, I will call for the vote. Please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. It's unanimous. 8-0. Thank you. Okay, now we can do the proposed ordinances first reading. Councilmember DeMauro, would you please read Bill number 23-069?
Yes, sir. I move to advance the second reading, Bill number 23-069, an ordinance approving a funding agreement between the City of Lee Summit, Missouri and RED Lee Summit East LLC for proposed amendments to the amended and restated Summit Fair tax increment financing contract.
All right, thank you. We have a motion to move to second reading. Bill number 23-069 by Councilmember DeMauro, seconded by Councilmember Felker. Discussion. Yes, Councilmember Felker.
Thank you, Mayor. I see Mr. Bushek in the crowd. I wonder if he might just answer a question or two, and this might just be kind of a confirmation, but I think what I'm seeing here is we're authorizing the basically review of the TIF contract, the developers funding it, and we'll continue to fund it if whatever they put in it initially, $30,000, is all spent, and then they're going to come back to us with a proposal at some point that may include changing the TIF so some non-retail establishments can be put into the locations there at Summit Fair. Is that kind of a summary?
Yes,
Okay.
that's a very good summary.
Anything I missed with that?
No, I think that covers it. It's to fund professional costs that would be incurred by the city to go through what is a fairly elaborate process to request of the bondholders who hold the bonds that have been issued by the city permission to amend the TIF contract to allow for more non-retail development as requested by RED. They're in the process of repositioning the shopping center in the sort of post-COVID internet shopping world, trying to fill some of the vacancies, but permission needs to be granted by the trustee of the bondholders. And so permission needs to be requested of each bondholder, whether that should be granted by the trustee, and that requires a revenue study and work by various professionals to achieve that.
And if that, so would we not see anything unless the bondholders actually approve it? that how,
Most likely. So one of two things will happen. Either we will reach a point where it looks like the bondholders are going to say yes, and the trust, so a little more background. The trustee is the person that ultimately makes the decision and says yes or no. The trustee wants to seek input from the bondholders, which is why we go through, not we necessarily, but this process happens. It could be that the trustee also says, I would like to see what the city council says about this request before I make my final decision. So it could be that the ordinance proposing an amendment to the TIF contract to allow more non-retail comes to you before the trustee for the bondholders has actually said yes, because they may request to see what your decision is before he makes his decision. Or it may happen the other way around. It may be that he says yes, subject to city council saying yes, one way or the other.
and costs, when we say costs incurred, which really is just time of city staff, and maybe there's some other actual out-of-pocket costs, all of that's gonna come from the developer, again, be deposited in a account of sorts and
Yes.
then spent.
Right, and the main costs to be incurred by the city include our work by our bond counsel, work by our financial advisor, and then a third-party revenue study. So there's quite a bit of professional work that needs to be done to achieve this step with the bondholders.
Would the city itself, for its staff time, be, okay, also?
Yes, probably
That's also
some.
part of that compensated?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. All right. Seeing no further questions or discussion, please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. So it does pass 8-0. Thank you. That takes us to Bill number 23-070. Mayor Potem Lopez, would you please read that for second reading?
Yes, thanks. I move to advance the second reading, Bill number 23-070, an ordinance approving the emergency operations plan for the city of Lee Summit, Missouri, and amending section 10.7, emergency operations plan of the Code of Ordinances to reflect the adoption of the new plan.
Thank you. We have a motion to move to second reading, Bill number 23-070 by Mayor Potem Lopez, seconded by Councilmember Hodges. Discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. And it moves to second reading unanimously. Thank you. All right, one more piece. We've got the proposed ordinance's second reading. Councilmember Shields, would you please read Bill number 23-054?
Thank you, Mayor. I move for approval of Bill number 23-054, an ordinance approving the Ellis Glen Land Clearance for Redevelopment Authority, LCRA redevelopment plan.
Thank you. We have a motion to move to second reading, Bill number 20.
To adopt, right?
Oh, yes. Thank you. We have a motion to adopt Bill number 23-054 by Councilmember Shields. I would need a second. What does yours say? Councilmember Felker seconded.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Discussion. Yes, Councilmember Lovell.
Thanks, Mayor. Obviously, I wasn't here last week. I did have a chance to catch up on the video and then just going through some of the documents, but I just was hoping I might be able, maybe it's Mr. Bushek or not, just a little more detail to me on how the LCRA was utilized here for the incentive request. And I'm just framing that because I was on the LCRA years ago, and I remember a process and system we use, and it's maybe a different, and I just couldn't discern that going through the meeting and whatnot, so
Sure.
thought maybe I'd.
So the Economic Development Incentive Policy was amended at the end of 2020, I think it was, maybe 21. And the policy now specifies a number of different tools that are available through the LCRA. The first tool, so the LCRA has existed for decades. It basically went dormant for many years. It was reestablished, it was sort of fired back up in 2009. And the first tool that was used by the LCRA, or through the LCRA process, I'll say, including city council action, was what's called a certificate of qualification, which is a particular tool that allows tax abatement for a maximum of 10 years and in the maximum of the increased value added to the property as a result of redevelopment. So you start with, for any given project that uses that tool, you start with the existing value of the land and the improvements, that becomes the base, and the only thing you can abate is the added value of an improved project. That was the first tool that was used, and I think there may have been 11 or so projects that were approved using that tool. There was a very rigorous scoring system that was used by the LCRA when it was fired back up at that point for that specific tool. And just sort of as a footnote, based on my experience, both here in Lee Summit and numerous other cities that I've talked with you about in the past, that is probably the most rigorous, intensive scoring system I've ever seen for any incentive application. For what that's worth, I'll offer that up. Some cities have used, I'll call it simpler scoring systems, but I've honestly never seen anything as rigorous or time-consuming as that scoring system. The tool that we're using now, this is I think it's the 5th redevelopment plan that has been through the LCRA over the last 5 or so years. It allows tax abatement in the amount of up to 100% and up to 25 years, which is the constitutional limitation. The nature of those projects that use that sort of tool are very different than the certificate of qualification. The certificate of qualification process, very generally speaking, is for smaller projects and expansion of existing businesses and existing projects in the city. The redevelopment plan is used for new projects like this. So think of, it was used for the Vanguard Villas project on the west side of the streets of West Pryor in the undermined area. That was a redevelopment plan, and this is another example of basically starting from scratch, a new plan. And the rigorous scoring system that previously had been used for the certificate of qualification doesn't really lend itself the same way to this sort of tool. Coupled with, there's been turnover in the membership of the LCRA, and there's others here that could maybe speak to this, that very rigorous scoring system just hasn't been used most recently. I think it's mainly a function of not using the certificate of qualification process, but it's also a function of the projects that we use the redevelopment plan approach for is very different in nature than what we've used certificate of qualification for.
Okay. So like on Vanguard Villas, since that's probably the most recent one where we went through LCRA, right? Similar situation?
One of the most recent,
One
yes.
of the most recent. Are there other residential projects that we've used this tool on besides Vanguard Villas? Because last time I remember any sort of.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so the downtown cityscape apartments, that was a combination TIF and LCRA. The LCRA in that case was solely for sales and use tax exemption on construction materials. So there was a lease, city ownership and a lease to the company during the construction period to use the sales tax exemption. The property has since been transferred back to the company, and now the TIF plan essentially kicked in. Each project like this has its own peculiarities.
And just out of curiosity, like Vanguard Villas, was it a similar request and
Yes.
percentages? It's like I see 75% abatement, 25% pilots.
It was 50% abatement for 25 years in the case of Vanguard Villas. And that was scaled to essentially provide the abatement package needed to make it economically feasible to fill in the mined areas as we've discussed with that
The
project.
significant issues with the development site to be able to do that.
Right.
So, and then when I'm looking at this, like I see, so I always think of other residential projects that have come in. Yes, Cityscape, that, if I recall with Cityscape, it was the parking requirement in the garage, so that's what they were trying to account for with that TIF. Vanguard Villas obviously significantly undermined. We typically don't abate residential, correct? I mean, I'm not saying, we can't, but it usually goes through a rigorous process and goes through like TIF and TIF commission and.
I would say generally yes. I apologize, I don't have that chart again, but I can talk about the categories. There's apartments, there's senior housing, and then there's these types of unique projects, like Vanguard Villas in this project. For the apartment projects, and this is where we've had this, you've heard me debate with the applicants in front of you in the past. When we've used Chapter 100 for the apartment projects, that provides sales tax exemption on the purchase of construction materials and a fixed pilot schedule. Now, the debate at that point is that really abatement or not? I've indicated to you that based on the numbers we receive from the county, yes, it probably is some measure of abatement. And then you have the developer saying, no, it's not. No, it's not really abatement, because if this were on the market without Chapter 100, we would be appealing the county's valuation, and we would be knocking the valuation down to what our pilots are requested of you, and so it's not really abatement, and we've had that debate that we can't
Yeah.
really resolve with the apartments.
So like, I just remember we set a high watermark with the pilot program, I think with North Point that was in here recently, right?
Yes.
And the reason we're doing the pilots, you know, if we understand it, is like we're setting that property tax, right? Like at a certain level that allows the developer to predict what those costs are gonna be over a course of period of time for their investment.
The answer is yes for the Chapter 100 projects. So for those projects, we have used a fixed pilot per door, which provides the developer the certainty they requested in the case of apartment projects. For this project, it's different. It's just 75% abatement of whatever the county values the property. So whatever that valuation is of the finished project over time, they'll receive 75% abatement, and the taxes they pay are 25% of that valuation and the resulting calculations for taxes.
And then I seem to recall too, like when we've gone through these in the past, maybe they're larger projects, but, and I went through the packet, maybe I missed something there, but like the, you know, costs associated with the project, right? So line item by line item, what they're looking to abate or what they're looking for the tax incentive. Do we have anything like that for this project? I see 8 million, and
Yeah, so the developer, the answer is we have data from the developer on these points, but we haven't analyzed, we talked about this quite a bit last week, the but-for test or the necessity component. It's a little different with LCRA, and I'll go ahead and summarize it again. The necessity test in the case of LCRA is simply a finding that you need to make that redevelopment of the project is necessary. So one of the things that we discussed last week, that necessity could be for the blight clearance, to get the property into a state that it's a nice project and it's not blighted anymore. That could be the necessity. There's nothing in the LCRA Act that requires us to do the rigorous financial analysis that we do with TIF plans, because the TIF plan is a much more rigorous test, and we engage our financial advisor to do that analysis. So that's a longer way of answering. We have data from the developer. They've indicated what their total project costs are, but we haven't done the rigorous analysis like we do with TIF when we have the more specific but-for tests.
So I mean, I don't look at rigorous as a negative connotation, like, you know, whether it's how we used to do it on the LCRA or what going through TIF. And so the total abatement and then just, so I think I saw here is 1.7 million of tax abatement, and that's over a 25-year period, is that correct? I'm looking at your, the tax abatement request document.
Right, so I'll go ahead and put it up here,
Sorry.
just so, that's all right. Just to make sure I'm tracking with what you're asking, you're looking at.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
Yep. So I've calculated that the net present value of the tax abatement to them over a 25-year period, that value is the 1.7 million amount, which is approximately 21.5% of what they've indicated their expected total project costs are.
Okay. I think that's kind of all my questions. I guess I would just make a comment to everybody here, just because I didn't have a chance to, I don't know if this would be the time to do it, didn't have a chance last week. I actually think like something like this should be put through more, especially with the size of abatement and the length of time and the dollar amount, that it should be put through more of a rigorous test, so to speak. Like, to me, in my personal opinion, this should have gone through TIF commission. Now, I understand that LCRA has changed significantly, but I know what the original intent was when I was there and kind of what we were looking to do with it. You know, I also, like, you know, as I just project out and I, you know, read the tea leaves of what's going on just all over the place, you know, everybody's feeling the pain right now of the economy. And I just, you know, for me to look at this abatement, and then I also know, like, you know, I know what the land cost was. I know that's a big portion of this. I remember driving past those sites for a couple years. In fact, I'd reached out to a couple developers and said, hey, there's 4 lots here, $400,000. most of them said, hey, this just isn't going to pencil, not something we'd be interested in. For me personally, I think it's too much of an ask with the abatement. I feel like there hasn't been enough kind of scrutiny of these numbers. And I think we've got to really think as a body, as we're moving forward in kind of some weird economic times, that we are incenting residential for a developer on these apartments. And, a home builder, somebody wants to go build a home, is going to be faced with the same challenges. And so my personal opinion is that this is not a good use of the incentives. And I won't be supporting this issue. I don't think I have anything else to add to that, but thanks, Mayor. Thanks, Mr.
Thank you.
Bichek.
Okay. Further discussion, comments? All right, seeing none, please cast your vote. Okay, all votes are in, please record the vote. And that's a 5-3 vote with one person absent tonight. Okay. I think we're going to get a lot of opportunity in the next, about a month from now. Is that right, Mr. Dunning, when we start talking about incentives and such?
Yes, that's teed up for our Community and Economic Development Committee.
All right, very good, thank you. Are you wanting to comment after?
Kind of, if it's okay.
Go ahead.
So last week it was mentioned that the houses, if we didn't approve it, they would just sit there. But that's, to my understanding, not how, like, in the future, that's not how it works. The houses, if they're unsafe, they can get condemned and torn down, correct? So it was misinformation that was stated, that they can't just leave it. They can't just leave the houses sitting.
Hi, Joshua Johnson, Director of Development Services. No, if there's a dangerous or unsafe condition that we become aware of, we would ask the property owner to abate that situation and remove the homes or get them up to a safe standard. We do have a process called a dangerous buildings hearing where we could remove the structures and put a lien on the property if we have to. In the case of something like this, though, where there's a development going on, we would work with the property owner, try to develop a schedule for when those structures would come down.
Thank you. I just thought it was important to note, just because that was said, so I thought it was important to note that that was inaccurate.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
thank you.
You bet, thank you. No. Okay, where are we at? Committee reports. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you,
You
Mayor.
know, I just read the other day that some people, ladies, get offended if you say ma'am.
Well, it does mean that I'm old.
That's what the article said. No, I read this a long article, and I'm like, so sometimes I'll say, sir, I'll say, thank you, sir. Yes, I say sir to council member level. But it really made me think about my language up here, so I apologize if that,
It's okay.
okay, thank you. Councilmember Shields.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say that we currently have on calendar Legislative and Intergovernmental Relations Committee on April 10th, but I'm going to need to reschedule that due to a conflict. So I think city staff will be checking for a potential change of a date, but I just wanted to let the committee members know that we won't be meeting on the 10th.
Thank you. Councilmember DeMauro.
Thank you, Mayor. I think I should also mention that I've taken under advisement that there may not be an April 3rd Finance and Budget Committee meeting, and I think I will let people know. And I'll be working with Betty on that subject, but we may not have one. There's stuff that we're waiting on.
Okay.
So just to let those committee members know. Thank you.
Yep. That time of year, there's a lot of stuff going on, crunch time. Okay, any other committee reports? Council comments? I was gonna say, we're gonna have a chance to look into the incentives, policies. When are we doing that, Mr. Dunning?
So we're working with Chair Edson with the CEDC. We were going to try to bring that forward in April, but it's looking like that will be in May. which will marry up with the best practices report for the EDC. That should be coming forward, I believe, the first meeting in May.
And I just think it's really important to everybody be ready for it, because the points you brought up tonight, other council members brought up, we just need to really think things through. But we want to try to get it wrapped up into the incentive policy so that we can then not be then our decisions up here are easier from the dais when we're looking at these things. So we're gonna, did Mr. Bushak leave? Oh, I was gonna give him a hard time. We will be ready for him to discuss these things, and then I'll mention this before I turn it over to everybody else to speak. A few of us are leaving for Washington, D.C. To go lobby the federal elected officials, not just the state. So, and a conference. It's called the NLC, National League of Cities. It's very good, but the last one I think I made it to was right before COVID, February of 2020. And then everything changed after that. So I am looking forward to going and getting to make some asks and try to get some support, because a lot of federal dollars were handed out this last couple of years, and Lee's Summit, at least our city, did not receive a lot of those dollars. And some of it has to do with, I know it's need-based, but we got to keep asking and make sure that these officials know, that elected officials know that we have needs in Lee Summit too, and that we're a good return on investment. So that's what we're going to go do. With that, I will ask for other comments. Councilmember Shields. Thank you. Councilmember Lovell.
Thank you. So just piggyback with the incentive stuff coming up, I assume it would encompass kind of like LCRA and all these different, going through those and maybe starting to set some, I look forward to that. And I think just kind of bigger picture on this too is like, I'm thinking of certain things like, we're getting positioned or threatened with, not threatened, but that, property taxes are getting ready to raise big time for all of us as residents, right? And then all these incentive projects won't feel that pain like we do. And so like it's Jackson County or whoever it is coming in to grab those extra tax dollars as we look through this and see what Jackson County goes to Lee Summit. So I hope we are being very cognizant of where we are today as a city, where those incentive policies, how those incentive policies got us here today, and then how we plan to use these moving forward, and just, try to massage that a little bit. So I think it's a very important opportunity for us to really kind of set the tone and stage for future opportunities or developments that are coming in. So, the other thing I would mention, and maybe it's like land acquisition costs. I think that's kind of a really dangerous area that we tiptoe in with the incentives. And so I hope maybe we can really dive into that as a body to talk about, like, there's almost like a conflict in that, right? Because you're incenting the developer to pay whatever if they're going to be able to recoup that. Now, I know it's limited or capped, but so those are just things like I'm thinking in my brain as I'm thinking out loud that, I hope we're able to flush out and come together as a body to kind of really understand how we're going to take these moving forward. So I look forward to that. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. It will start at CEDC, so it'll start there. Yep.
Turns out I'm on CEDC.
There you go.
Lucky that.
All right. All right, Councilmember Pryor.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to say that I loved hearing the school district talk about all of everything going on. I'm hard on the school district a lot, but they have a lot of really cool things going on, and so I'm excited to that I have 5 children in our school district. So yeah, it was really cool, and I hope that you and Mayor Pro Tem Lopez are not on the same plane. Like the president and vice president they're not allowed to be on the same plane.
We talked about it, and, this is because we had staff members concerned about it, and I basically said that, I'm a faithful person, and if something tragic like that happened, that we have council members that would pick up the leadership and keep us moving forward. We would grieve, but that I have faith in our council and our community to rally and and such, and that I really just wanted to go on the same plane together so that we could make it convenient for us. So I know it's kind of, you may differ with that, but I made the call. I really did.
Well, he'd be fun to fly with, but it would be a fun combination.
I'm not fun to do really much with. But
You're not?
No.
Oh, I feel like you would be. I feel like,
We'll
yeah.
see. We'll see how much fun I am in DC. I'll go, I might want to go sight or
Yeah.
touring places.
As long as it's not super cold. It might be cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you on the same plane?
I mean, whenever I went on vacations, even my vacations with family had agendas. I mean, like literally typed out agendas. Yeah, it did. Every single one, my whole life, or with my kids. So, all right. Anything else, Councilmember Pereira? All right, thank you.
No, thank you.
With that said, we'll go to staff roundtable.
Thank you, Mayor. Under staff roundtable is a written report from the License Tax Review Committee. The short and sweet of that is there's no recommendation to change the rates for the license tax. And then just a report coming out of Jeff City that I'm seeing here is that House Bill, I think it's 909, related to the half-mile, 1 mile, will be up for a third read tomorrow morning. So that's making its way through the House, but what we don't know is what's happening on the Senate side. So just an update on that. And that's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Another excellent meeting. Good discussion, great reports, lots of collaboration, and we're going to adjourn this meeting at 7:38.
Point of order.
There was a public comment tonight, and you must have missed it. I'm so sorry.
I've been here the whole entire time.
Sir, I asked for public comment. This meeting is adjourned. Roy, I'll visit with you afterwards, and I'll make sure that next time I get you up here.
The whole entire time.